Students always ask me many questions about language learning. One of the most frequent is, do I need to go and live in the country to learn the language well? We have all heard that the best way to learn is to go and live in a country where the language is spoken, and without any doubt it is. However, how many of us can realistically do so? If moving abroad is not an option, what can you do to replicate at home the kind of environment and experiences that make living abroad so effective? Actually, you can do quite a lot. Let's start by having a look at what makes full immersion work so well. Using all your senses. When you live in a country, you are surrounded all day long by the language. It is literally everywhere. In the streets where you walk, in the shops where you buy, on TV, on the radio, in the magazines and newspapers, in the adverts all around you, on street signs, etc. That means that your ears, your eyes, and your brain get naturally used to the look and the sound of words and phrases. You absorb the pronunciation, the expressions, and the flow of the language just as a child does when learning their native language. And of course, you have to interact back. You are literally using all your senses most of the time simultaneously. You hear, you see, you speak, and you do in the language. So how can you replicate the same experience at home? Number 1, engaging your ears. Have tapes and recordings playing around while you go about your daily activities. Turn your CD player on when you get ready in the morning. Use your iPod or your car stereo on the way to work. Have tapes going while you do housework or while you exercise. You don't even have to pay full attention all the time. Your brain will still absorb way more than you can imagine. And when possible, repeat what you hear, trying to get as close as you can to the pronunciation. Repetition is a key to language learning, so the more you do it, the best. If you like music and songs, that is another great way to learn and memorize words and phrases in a natural and pleasurable way. Any type of music will do, as long as you enjoy it. Enjoyment is the best motivator. When you enjoy what you do, you are more likely to keep at it. Number 2, engaging your eyes. Another clever way to mimic what happens when you live in a foreign country is to write words and phrases on sticky notes and put them around that you can easily see them, just as you would see and read street signs and posters. Read your notes each time your eye follows them. Whenever appropriate, read them aloud and repeat them. You will find that memorizing new words and phrases becomes very easy. As soon as you are proficient enough, start reading newspapers and magazines from the country. You will easily find some in every major town, or you can read them online. Usually, it is possible to browse a few articles for free, and you can subscribe to your favorite publication for complete issues. Books are also great. Whether it is a novel or a non-fiction book, choose a topic of your interest. Remember what we said about enjoyment being the best motivator. You can find books for readers of all levels. Sometimes they come with an accompanying audio recording, or you could find books with parallel text, meaning that each page of the original is followed by its translation on the opposite page. Poetry, if you like it, it's great. Like with songs, the rhyme and the harmony will help you remember more easily. Whatever you do, don't worry if you cannot understand everything. The first time I read a novel in English, I understood less than a third of it, and it was still enough to enjoy the story. On the second read, however, I was surprised at how much more I could get. When you read, you can easily pick up the meaning of new words from the context. Because that is a more active way of learning, you're also more likely to remember. In that sense, another great idea is to start using a dictionary in the language as soon as you can. When you look up for a new word, you read the definition in the language you're learning rather than just a translation. Again, as long as you know enough to get the gist of the meaning, you will pick up other words as you read. And the more you do it, the more you learn, without even knowing it. If you are a film lover, look for films in the original language, or check your DVDs for the ones that are dubbed in the language you're learning. You can then watch the film in your own language first, and then in the new language. You will already have an idea of the story, and you can concentrate on the language. Video and films offer an extra advantage as you will be engaging both your eyes and your ears. With original videos, you also start getting a flavor of the body language associated with the culture. And if you're worried about the cost, don't. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can find tons of interesting free materials online, or you can look for CDs, tapes, and videos at your local charity shop. They may not be the latest edition, but they work just as well. Number 3, engaging with others. Interacting with others is also a major part of learning a language. Whenever possible, find yourself a study buddy. Meet on a regular basis and choose to speak exclusively in the language you're learning for the duration of your meeting. Go about any usual activity with them, just do it in the language you're learning. And of course, whenever there is a chance, interact with native speakers. Areas with big expat communities will very likely have organizations that promote their culture and provide meeting places. Usually they are open to anybody interested and can provide you with an opportunity to befriend native speakers and practice your language of choice in a social environment. They may even run courses, film festivals, and various types of events and exhibitions. Another option is to find a native tutor that offers conversations, one-on-one or classes. Most are likely to offer online and over-the-phone options, so location and time are not an issue. Number 4, less and often. The more of the above activities you engage in on a regular basis, the closer you get to the experience of living and breathing the language. Whether you decide to join a class, find a tutor, or learn independently, remember that less and often is better, and repetition is key. Find a combination of methods and topics that interest you and keep you motivated. And most of all, have fun. I hope that this video has given you a few ideas for making your learning more effective as well as more fun. You can also check my other videos for more tips about learning Italian and visit my website esitaliano.com for information about courses, books, as well as some downloadable materials. You will find a link below the video.